Doctor!
It's the end. But the moment has been prepared for.
The Watcher!
He was the Doctor all the time.
Hi everyone, Tyler Sky 123 here, doing another top 10 video, that's it. I don't know what I was just going to say then, but anyway, it's another top 10 video. This time, it's the last one for a while actually, because I'm going to be moving on to Big Finish and Doctor Who TV reviews, classic reviews. But anyway, for now, we're looking at the costumes that are worn by the Doctor, all those wonderful costumes, most of them are wonderful, that he's worn throughout the years. And, a lot of the early years, the first 8, are very much, they've got that kind of like Edwardian feel about them, I guess is the best way to put it. They feel very Edwardian, and then when you get into Russell T Davies' era, it feels a bit more, what's it called, modern, I guess. Very contemporary. It doesn't make him stand out as much, although it still has that oddness about it, and that interest. I can't say the word. No, the word's not coming to me. Eccentric. That word, that for some reason I can't say eccentricity. That's basically it. And then with Matt Smith, it kind of like, I don't know what happened there. It was a bit of a disaster, I guess. It kind of went back to the Edwardian feel in some ways. In other ways, it just felt too comic-like, comedic, I guess. In a lot of ways, His costume's alright, I guess. Very much Troughton-esque. There's something about it that just felt too much like a costume and not enough like an outfit to me. At least the late ones did. I think the first set that he had were alright. And then Peter Capaldi's kind of going back to that Edwardian feel very strongly. It's very much harkening back to John Pertwee. So now that we've had a quick round off of the costumes as a whole, let's start off with my top 10 with the second Tom Baker costume, the 80s Tom Baker costume.
I give you a privileged insight into the mystery of time. Yes?
Yes.
Open your mind to adventures beyond imagining. Yes?
Yes.
And you criticize my logic.
No. No, I'm just saying that a lot of the time you don't really make sense.
Oh, you've noticed that, have you? Well, I mean, anyone can talk sense as long as that's understood. You and I are going to get on splendidly.
Now, it's not necessarily a bad look for Tom Baker. I just feel it really does pale in comparison to his previous costume, unfortunately. And well, it does have some redeeming features. It just feels like a big, big step down. So now let's move on to 9th place, which is the 6th Doctor's costume.
Would it be too much to ask what all this is about?
The accused will remain silent until invited to speak.
The accused? Do you mean me?
I call upon the Valeyard to open the case.
By order of the High Council, this is an impartial inquiry into the behavior of the accused person, known as the Doctor, who is charged that he, on divers occasions, has been guilty of conduct unbecoming a Time Lord.
Not guilty!
He is also charged with, on divers occasions, transgressing the first law. It is my unpleasant task, Madam Inquisitor, to prove to the inquiry that the Doctor is an incorrigible meddler in the affairs of other peoples and planets.
6th Doctor's costume, not much to say about this. It is oddly enough, Colin Baker is oddly enough the only person who I feel is able to pull it off. Put anyone else in it and it looks ridiculous. With Sylvester McCoy at the start of Time and the Rani, it just stands out as so bad. But when Colin Baker's wearing it, I don't know, something just fits, I guess. It doesn't feel as weird. It still feels a bit weird, but it doesn't feel as shocking. So now let's move on to the 5th Doctor.
Fortunately, most of them end up safely locked away.
Insight is often mistaken for madness, my dear.
Well, I didn't realize that the malice was so evil.
Don't worry, Wolsey. It will serve us.
It will use you.
Tegan's right. You're energizing a force so irresistibly destructive that nothing on Earth can control it. You must stop the war game.
Stop it? Are you mad? You speak treason.
Fluently. Stop the games.
So the Fifth Doctor had a very cricketing look. And, you know, I think Peter Davison himself has said it many times that he feels the costume felt too much like a costume, you know, not like so the previous Doctors were where they picked stuff out and mashed it all together. It feels very much like it was all made to go together. Which, you know, in one sense you think, well, that might look good actually. That might look better than the previous ones. But then, you know, it kind of doesn't work to it. It feels too forced. Which is a bit unfortunate, but anyway, now let's move on to the Eighth Doctor's costume in The Night of the Doctor.
Help me, please. Can anybody hear me?
Please state the nature of your ailment or injury.
I'm not injured, I'm crashing. Don't need a doctor.
A clear statement of your symptoms will help us provide the medical practitioner appropriate to your individual needs.
I'm trying to send a distress signal. Stop talking about doctors.
I'm a doctor. But probably not the one you expected.
Now, just a very quick note, I am going to say that I'm not including Big Finish costumes. So the Dark Eyes 3 costume, well, not Dark Eyes 3, sorry, Dark Eyes in general costume is not going to be included in this, unfortunately, along with some other Big Finish costumes. But anyway, you know, this costume is a great costume, I feel. It very much fits the Eighth Doctor, kind of like during the Time War thing, it very much fits that feeling. So yeah, now let's move on to, I think it's 5th place now. Maybe it's 6th actually. It's the First Doctor.
There's one thing about it, Doctor. We're certainly different from when we started out with you.
That's funny. Grandfather and I were talking about that just before you came in. How you both changed.
Oh, we've all changed.
Have I?
Yes.
Yes, it all started out as a mild curiosity in the junkyard. Now it's turned out to be quite a great spirit of adventure, don't you think?
Yes. Well, we've had some pretty rough times, and even that doesn't stop us.
Very Edwardian, and oddly rather simple, but you know, I think it works. I think it's quite nice. However, the only reason it's not any higher on this list is because it's a bit too simple, I guess. You know, it's just something about it that's a bit too simplistic, and I guess because it's black and white, they couldn't go for anything overly extravagant, because, you know, obviously that would be seen as well and whatnot. But anyway, now let's move on to a very similar costume for 5th place, which is the Second Doctor.
I suppose you've come for me.
You know our ways.
Yes, I thought you'd realize somebody did. I imagine you have orders to destroy me.
Yes.
Tell me one thing. Why did you order Duggan to destroy radio communication with the Earth? After all, that is why you want possession of the wheel, isn't it?
You know our ways.
That doesn't answer my question.
He was instructed to destroy only the transmitting complex.
Second Doctor, my favourite Doctor, however, not my favourite costume of the Doctor. It's good. It's very much a messier version of William Hartnell's, I guess. You know, it suits the kind of like black and white era of the show and whatnot. But overall, once again, too simplistic. So now let's move on to Peter Capaldi's costume.
Clara, be my pal. Tell me, am I a good man?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Peter Capaldi, wonderful Doctor, wonderful dress sense. Once again, we've returned to that kind of like classic feel with his costumes. Very stark simplicity, you know, as he said himself, no frills and whatnot. 100% Time Lord Rebel, you know, it's a very good costume, I feel. And you know, there's loads of variations of it as well, which is nice. You know, it mixes things up, you know, with the different colour tops and whatnot. But it's still very much the same base costume, which is nice and very much a callback to Peter Capaldi's. Not to John Pertwee's, not Peter Capaldi's. Not even sure how that could work. But with a show about time travel, who knows? Anyway, now it's Sylvester McCoy's turn.
Sugar?
Ah, a decision. Would it make any difference?
Would make your tea sweet?
Yes, but beyond the confines of my taste buds, would it make any difference?
Not really.
But...
Yeah?
What if I could control people's taste buds? What if I decided that no one would take sugar? That'd make a difference to those who sell the sugar and those who cut the cane.
My father, he was a cane cutter.
Exactly. Now, if no one had used sugar, your father would have been a cane cutter.
If this sugar thing had never started, my great-grandfather wouldn't have been kidnapped, chained up, and sold in Kingston in the first place. I'd be an African.
See? Every great decision creates ripples. Like a huge boulder dropped in a lake. The ripples merge, rebound off the banks in unforeseeable ways. The heavier the decision, the larger the waves, the more uncertain the consequences.
Sylvester McCoy's costume, I don't know what exactly it is about it, but I just love it. It is a really good costume, I feel. However, I'm not too fond of the question mark top, jumper, whatever. You know, it's okay, I guess, but the question marks themselves just don't really work. They feel too much self-aware for the show, I guess, is the best way to put it. But other than that, it's a great costume. So now let's move on to second place, which is John Pertwee.
Like that, is it?
John Pertwee's costume is simply put magnificent. There's nothing like it really. It's very much a dandy costume. You know, there's something that really does work about it, I feel. And you know, as I said earlier, Peter Capaldi's costume is very reminiscent of it. But there's just something that I prefer about John Pertwee's. You know, maybe it's the cloak kind of wings type feel. I don't know, but it feels so natural for John Pertwee to wear that. So now, as I'm sure you've all guessed, first place is Tom Baker's standard costume, I guess you'd put it.
There you are. Now, come along, Doctor. You're supposed to be in the sick bay.
Am I? Don't you mean the infirmary?
No, I do not mean the infirmary. I mean the sick bay. You're not fit yet.
Not fit? I'm the doctor.
No, Doctor. I'm the doctor, and I say that you're not fit.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor. The definite article, you might say.
Look here, Doctor. You're not fit.
Not fit. Not fit. Of course I'm fit. All systems go.
Say. Look.
Heart speed?
I say, I don't think that could be right.
Both a bit fast, are they?
Well, I don't.
Still, must be patient. A new body's like a new house. Takes a little bit of time to settle in.
Now, I guess you'd call this his standard look, you know, because he wore it for most of his era. You know, he had that costume in the Talons Wind Chang, which I'm not counting. Maybe I should have done. You know, it's a bit late now. You know, that's a great costume. You know, I'm not counting that because that was just a one-off thing. It's not a regular costume like this, or the season 18 one was. But anyway, you know, we've come full circle now. We've started with Tom Baker and we're finishing with Tom Baker. And what an improvement this one is on the previous Tom Baker one. It's so amazing. I love how the mix of colours it is. You know, the scarf has a lot more colours on it. It feels very much more eccentric rather than the somber look which they went for with the other one from season 18. But you know, there's just something about this costume that is so iconic and so great. You know, I really do love this costume, and I really do love Tom Baker as the Doctor. It's all magnificent. So, yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on this. You know, costumes, they're great. They very much express the Doctor's personality and whatnot. So, now, let's end this video off, I guess. Thanks for watching, everyone. Next up will be the review of a Tom Baker story, Full Circle. And then we go into Big Finish territory, starting off with some Dark Eyes 3 reviews. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.